My parents skipped my wedding. A long, emotional journey. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to write a story like this. But here I am, staring at my screen, typing out an experience that changed me forever. My wedding day, the happiest day of my life, was also one of the most painful because my parents, the people who raised me, chose not to be there. The backstory let me rewind a bit. I grew up in a conservative household with strict values. My parents, who we'll call Linda and Robert, had a clear vision for my life. I was supposed to go to college, get a respectable job, marry someone from our community, and settle down. They loved me in their way, but their love came with conditions. As long as I followed the plan, I was their golden child. Things started to go off script when I met Alex in college. Alex was everything I ever wanted in a partner. Kind, funny, supportive, and brilliant. But Alex didn't fit into my parents' worldview. For one, Alex came from a different cultural background. And worse, in their eyes, Alex wasn't religious. When I first told my parents about Alex, their reactions ranged from disbelief to outright anger. "You're throwing your life away," my mother said, her voice trembling with disappointment. My father, usually the calmer of the two, just shook his head. "This won't end well," he muttered. I tried to reason with them, to show them how much Alex loved me and how happy we were together. But their disapproval was unwavering. The engagement bombshell. When Alex proposed to me after 3 years of dating, I knew it would set off a firestorm. I was right. The night I called my parents to share the news, there was a long, heavy silence on the other end of the line. "You're really doing this?" my father asked finally. "Yes," I replied, my voice steady. "I love Alex, and we're getting married." "Then don't expect us to be part of this circus," my mother snapped before hanging up. I cried that night, crumpled on the floor as Alex held me. Part of me wanted to cancel the wedding, to do anything to mend the rift with my parents. But Alex reminded me of something important. This was my life, and I deserved to live it on my terms. The wedding planning, despite the heartbreak, we moved forward with the wedding plans. I sent my parents an invitation, hoping they'd change their minds. My siblings, who were caught in the crossfire, tried to mediate, but my parents were firm. "We raised her better than this," they'd say. My friends and Alex's family stepped up in ways I never expected. They helped with every detail, from picking out flowers to addressing invitations. Alex's mother even offered to walk me down the aisle if my father wouldn't. Her kindness brought tears to my eyes. The big day. The morning of the wedding, I checked my phone compulsively, hoping for a text or a call from my parents. Nothing. My siblings arrived, offering their support, but their subdued expressions told me they hadn't been able to sway our parents. Walking down the aisle without my father was harder than I anticipated. Alex's mother held my arm tightly, whispering words of encouragement. As I reached the altar and saw Alex's radiant smile, the weight in my chest began to lift. This was my day, our day, and I refused to let my parents' absence ruin it. The fallout after the wedding, I sent my parents a letter. I poured my heart out, explaining how much I loved them despite everything and how much I wished they could have been there. Weeks went by without a response. When they finally called, it was to reiterate their disappointment. "We can't support a marriage that goes against everything we believe in," my mother said. It felt like a punch to the gut. But for the first time, I stood my ground. "I love you both, but I won't apologize for choosing happiness," I told them. A new chapter. It's been 2 years since the wedding. My relationship with my parents is still strained, but we've reached a tentative truce. They don't acknowledge Alex, but they've started calling occasionally to ask about my life. It's not the reconciliation I dreamed of, but it's something. Alex and I are thriving. We bought a house, adopted a dog, and are planning a trip to Europe. Some days, the pain of my parents' absence feels fresh, but I remind myself that I chose love, both for Alex and for myself. Reflections. If there's one thing I've learned from this experience, it's that family doesn't always look the way you expect. Sometimes you have to create your own. My parents may have skipped my wedding, but the people who mattered most were there, cheering me on as I walked into a new chapter of my life. And for that, I am endlessly grateful.